Hey, everybody, this is your man Jason Myles with Real Estate 360. And today, Steve Conley and I are going to be discussing the differences between the actions of successful investors and unsuccessful investors, and the things that you can model and emulate to find success in your life and in your business, because they're really all, kind of conjoined. They go together. You find success in one place, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to find it in another. But if you develop the mindset of success, you'll transfer those things from one aspect of your life to the other. And we're going to talk about those things today in just a second. All right, welcome back, everybody. This is your man Myles. Thank you for sticking with us. And of course, as I said, we've got my guy Steve in the house. What's up, Steve Conley?
Hey, good morning. Everything's fantastic, 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 right?
As well as it should be, as well as it should be.
Absolutely.
It's getting colder outside. Everybody's running inside. They're afraid to go outside. All the fur coats are going to be busting out now. It's getting cold, and cold in Atlanta is a little different
Yeah,
than it is in other parts of the country, or even the world for that matter. It gets down to 40 degrees here, 50 degrees, and the fur coats are coming out. They're coming out. You know, where I was born and raised, 40, 50 degrees, you're still wearing shorts and flip flops. So, so
that's right.
it's a completely different perspective, but that's pretty cool. But hey, guys, listen, I want to say this before we go all in. I noticed that we're getting a lot of views of people that are not subscribed. Come on, you guys, hit the subscribe button if you like the information. Hit the like button, comment, and share with us. Because listen, they're going to push the content to you anyway. You're going to watch it anyway. I appreciate it, but it does help us out a lot with the algorithm if you go ahead and like and follow the channel. We really appreciate it if you do that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for those that have subscribed, and I want to make sure that we can continue to bring you this content, because you're showing that you like it and that you approve of it. So thank you. All right. So as I stated earlier, today we're going to talk about the things that successful investors do and unsuccessful investors, don't do. Things that you can implement really, really easily into your life and business to, kind of make things go a little bit smoother for you, per se. It doesn't mean that it's going to fix all of your problems, because there's no such thing, right? There's no such things. Problems are just things that come about, but it's how you deal with them. It's how you handle them. It's how you it's your focus, really. Are you going to focus on the obstacle, the hurdle, or are you going to focus on the solution? And that's just a part of it. And we're going to kind of get into some of that stuff. And Steve, we've talked to a bunch of different investors, real estate investors, on all kind of different platforms, people that we know, social media platforms, just talking to active investors and, asking them what they do that they see that other investors, newer investors, are not doing, or just unsuccessful investors. Because I think both of us know people that have been in this industry for a long time, but has never really achieved any significant success. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, we were talking to some folks, last night on the coaching call, and I was listening to the responses and so forth.
Hmm.
And you can tell who is going to do it and who's not going to do it. And I think that's really part of it, is, or the major part is doing it, actually just getting up every morning and taking some type of action every day, right? And I wrote about this recently in a little thing I sent out, but is it motivation or is it inspiration? Are you inspired to do these things that you want to do? Like, if you're a real estate investor, then you should want to get up and start looking at houses and trying to figure out, okay, what's a good deal, what's not a good deal. That's taking the action every single day, right? And you don't want to be motivated because that takes a lot of the fun out of it. If you're inspired, now you're doing something that you love to do, and find those things that you love to do, and then you're just automatically going to get up and do those things every day. Does
That's for
that
sure.
make sense?
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, that's number one on our list. Take action every day. Take action every day and perform, because that's what it is. And it doesn't matter. I mean, we tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter if you're doing all the things that you need to do in a day, because let's be honest, we can. I mean, I have a big to-do list. I get as much of it done on a daily basis as I can, and then I transfer it to tomorrow. I mean, my to-do list is a weekly to-do list, and I try to finish all those things in that week's time, because some other things are going to come up. You're going to have to go somewhere. You're going to have to do something. But like we tell the people that we're coaching, training, teaching, do one or two things every day that get you closer to your goal, that are moving you closer to achieving the goal that you set for yourself, the desired outcome. You don't have to go gangbusters right away. We understand you got jobs, you've got careers, you got families, you got, all these things that are on your mind. But do one or two things every single day that are going to move you closer to that goal that you've established for yourself, that achievement, because over time that becomes a habit, and the more you achieve, the more you're going to want to do it. It's investing. It's like investing in the stock market, for instance. If you every week just take $25, heck, even if it's once a month, you take $25 and you put it there. Over time, you're going to see it grow and compound. And what happens in that case, Steve, is that, and it's inevitable, you see the growth over time, and then you want to put more money in. And then you start to say, well, I don't need to have all these coffees every week. Let me put,
Right.
20 bucks a week in, as opposed to $25 a month. Maybe it's 50 bucks a month, whatever it is. But as you see that growth, it motivates you to do more, because you can see the growth. It's the same thing when we're talking about investing in real estate, or any business that you're building, for that matter. When you're learning, things seem to be difficult. But if you take action every day, every single day, like Steve said, every day you take action, you're going to get closer and closer to that goal, which is going to create new habits, which is going to help you achieve your bigger term goal a lot faster. Because sometimes it's the first one or two that are tough. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then, I know a lot of people are afraid to try something, especially real estate. It can be intimidating, especially if you're thinking of making a big mistake, or everybody's asking you for earnest money and all this sort of thing. And, you just keep at it. You will find that, yes, you're going to make some mistakes. There's no question about it. I make mistakes. I've been doing it for quite a while now, and I'm still in certain situations, when I'm stepping out beyond my comfort zone. I'm thinking, okay, is this a good enough opportunity, for me to be doing this or not? We're all asking those questions.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think for a minute that we're all that much different than the new person that's just showing up. Yeah, of course, 35 years of experience, that doesn't hurt.
Right.
But at the same time, just take the action, do the thing, and you will have the power. Uh, are you going to make some mistakes? Are you going to, but yeah. Now the question is, so what if something goes wrong? Did it really go wrong? I mean, you've really picked something that maybe in your view went wrong, but now you know way more than you did before you got involved in that. So,
Well, that's a good point, and let's talk about that for a second, because that's another one on our list.
mm. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's another one on our list. It's progress not perfection.
Ah, okay,
Right?
yeah, there it is.
Progress, not perfection. That means don't be afraid of making a mistake, as Steve said. You're moving forward. You've done it. You've done something, and you're progressing forward, right? So it's the progression that you're interested in, and mistakes are going to happen. I mean, you guys have heard it. You hear the gurus online or on TV or wherever they are talking about how they've never made a mistake, they've never lost money in real estate, they've never this, that, that's BS. I mean, if you haven't lost any money, if you haven't made some significant mistakes in your business, you haven't learned anything.
Right.
You really
That's
haven't
right.
learned anything, because it's that pain that you feel that motivates you to not do it again, right? And yeah, we all want to live vicariously through the person that has never had a mistake in life, but that person doesn't exist. Mistakes are going to happen, but we put things in place to limit our exposure to that mistake or that mess up, so that you know, we don't wind up putting ourselves out of business, or winding up digging ourselves out of a 5 or 10 year hole, which happens. It's happened to a lot of people, right? So it's progress and not perfection. And let me add this one more thing, Steve. You know, everybody wants to be perfect. Everybody is always talking about perfection. I'm the best at this. And that's great. That's great. You got to keep in mind, in baseball. And oh, by the way, congratulations to the Atlanta Braves. They did it.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
man.
But in baseball, if you're wrong 70% of the time at bat, you're considered a Hall of Famer.
That's right.
70% of the time. If you're batting 300, that's a 30% batting average. You're headed to the Hall of Fame. So it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Also, understand from a mental perspective, your mind, your brain doesn't understand perfection. Your brain does not understand perfection at all. What your brain does understand is adaptation. Perfection
Yeah.
doesn't exist. Humans have evolved over time because of their ability to adapt to weather, different climates around the world, different situations, as it relates to their ability to either grow or hunt or both. As civilizations became a little bit more prevalent, we had to adapt to living with a bunch of people and their stuff, right?
Yeah.
Our, so we are, like all life on this planet, we are built to adapt, not to be perfect,
Absolutely.
you know? So I thought those points were really, really good, that you brought up, Steve. And it goes now to the third point, and we're
Could
not
I
going to
say
get.
one more thing about your adaptation thing?
Absolutely.
The Our brains really are not wired to answer the question of how.
Hmm.
How do I do this and how do I do that? But our brains are here for our imaginative ability. And one of the things that I like to say is, the reason that people have problems related to real estate is they've just run out of imagination,
That's right.
because everything is possible. So all we have to do is imagine our outcome and then look for the clues and then take the action as to what we get inspired to do.
That's right.
And you follow that path, you can't go wrong.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean,
Now, it doesn't hurt to have some coaches along the way, to help say, well, you might not want to do it that way, but you might want to do it this way.
that's right.
And that helps quite a bit.
I mean, we
So,
talk to our students about that all the time, as it relates to listening to you. I mean, if you've invested in yourself to the point where you've got a coach slash mentor, teacher, whatever,
mhm.
you've put them in that place so that they can give you what they've got. You didn't put them in that place so that you can tell them what you think is right, right?
Right.
So they're there because they've had some success at the thing you want to be successful at. So listen to them.
Most
Listen
of
to
the
them.
people
Most of the people.
anyway.
Most of the people. So I just think that that's just a huge piece, right? Just a huge piece. And then the third one. that we have on our list is don't chase money, add value. Now,
Absolutely.
we see this every day. I mean, we see it every day, and people are like, "Well, what do you mean don't chase money? Well, don't chase it. Become really good at a thing, and opportunities are going to find you. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, we're talking about real estate here, so become great at finding good real estate deals for the people that want it, that don't have the time or the desire to go out and find the deals like you do. You're creating value. You're solving a problem for them, and now they want, to be. They're going to be around you more often. You're going to have properties for a very short period of time, right? So you get
Right.
good at a thing, you add value, and the opportunities will find you. If you're spending all your time chasing money, you know, you're never actually going to achieve the goal, which is always solving a problem
Hmm.
in every case.
Yep.
So
And
identify the
that's the
problem.
key. That's the key to the whole business right there
Mhm.
is finding problems to solve.
Yeah.
And some people don't have a problem. They think they have a problem. They call, they might call us and ask us to buy their house. And then, if we ask a few questions and we determine, well, listen, you're not in a hurry. The house is in great shape. And, you're not in financial distress. And so you don't have a problem really for us to be involved in this. So we might say something like, go list it with your local realtor and you'll get the most money for this house. Then that'll be better for you
Hmm.
than for us. But so that's the people that don't have a problem, but the people that do have a problem, now that's where we want to certainly get involved and see if we can't solve that problem and be really good at it and have all the options, available so that you can understand how to solve their problem and the best way to do that.
That's right. I mean, all we are in any business is problem solvers. That's all we are in any business at all. You open up a restaurant, you open it up to solve the problem of hunger that people have, right? Open up a trucking company, you solve the problem of goods getting to those kinds of establishments, and so on and so forth. And the most successful companies, in all honesty, are the ones that are solving the most problems that people
Right.
have. And of course that changes all the time. The bottom line is, in order for you to achieve what you want, you have to be ahead of the curve. And that means you want to be as good at a thing as you can possibly be. And that also means a never ending education. If you're the best, if you're the best today at something that you do, the absolute best, does it mean you don't practice your craft anymore? Does it mean that you
No.
don't? I mean, think about it. I mean, we all talk about, the Michael Jordans and the Kobe Bryants of the world. And, they were the best at what they did. Everyone aspires to be like them, but they never, ever, ever stopped practicing. They would stay after. They would come in early and practice one thing, do the whole practice with the team, and stay later to practice something else, whether it be free throws or jump shots or a transition, whatever it is. You're constantly, constantly practicing and working on your craft, your trade, to be better at it, to add more weapons to your arsenal, if you will. Because we talk about it all the time. Me, I when I started, I only knew how to do one thing. That's it, just wholesaling, and I left everything, every other opportunity on the table because I couldn't see it. I didn't know that it was a possible opportunity because I was only looking at that particular deal or potential deal through one set of eyes. Now later
Yeah.
on, then I started to meet the Steve Conleys of the world and have different conversations and all those things. And once I did that, I started to implement these different processes. And because of that, we've created now what we call the CARVE method, which is the conservative after repair value estimator. And when you're looking at a deal, it doesn't matter if you want to be a wholesaler, that's fine. But when you're looking at a deal, you should be able to identify the other opportunities. So we wanted to make sure that people could do that. So they wouldn't leave money on the table. They wouldn't pass up opportunity, and they can get to the check a little bit faster, even though it's not an opportunity that they want to fully take advantage of. But it's something that you can pass on to someone else and maybe make, a couple $1,000s, $1,500, whatever, for passing on that opportunity to someone else. It's just like what you said a second ago. When we're talking to people, we know we're going to lowball them on their house. We know that this house is worth more than we're going to offer. We align them with an agent that we know can get them the best price possible. And provided they sign with that agent, we'll make a little bit of money there. We make a little bit of that agent's commission as a referral fee. It's not going to make you rich, but one hand washes the other, right?
That's right. That's
So,
exactly right.
so don't chase.
We can't perceive or think we know what's in the mind of the person that's selling the house.
Right.
And I've been in the real estate business for a while, and you can make me an offer, and frankly, last week I might, or a week before, I might have one idea of what I want to sell a particular house for. Things may have changed between this week and that week, and now maybe this week I'm willing to sell it for $10,000 less just to get on with it, because maybe I've reached a mental situation where I'm thinking, okay, I'm done with this house, or maybe there's another opportunity that's shown up that would that I believe would be better than trying to hold on and make all the money I can possibly make out of another property. So anyway, think outside of the box a little bit. Don't be afraid to make those low ball offers. And then I would say don't be too ethnocentric about the way you think about a situation that's in front of you. And what I mean by that is, just because you wouldn't want that house doesn't mean there aren't 100 people that would want that house. So in other words, don't judge what you're looking at in terms of an investment opportunity strictly by what you want or what you don't want, or maybe you wouldn't want to live in this particular neighborhood. So what?
Yeah.
Look around. There's people living there, right?
Yeah.
In that neighborhood. So people do want to live in that neighborhood. So forget about what you want.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
but it's you're right. But it is adding value to every situation, in
Right.
every situation.
And I digressed a little bit
That's right.
off of our list.
No, that's not. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You're adding value to every situation. It doesn't matter if
Right.
it's right. But if you're doing that, you're not chasing money anymore. You're looking for the opportunity that other people can have. You're adding value to other people's business, which ultimately adds value to yours. And it's as simple
Right.
as that. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, the money will come. Like a mentor student I had, I said, listen, if you get the right price on the right house, money will flow to you like Niagara Falls. It's coming. So just get that understanding, and money will come as a result of the understanding and the actions that you take.
That's for sure. And then there's number 4 on our list. Now this is a 12 list. We're going to do a 2-part because we're not going to get through it. I don't want to keep people here for an hour and a half, right? So we're gonna do this in 2 parts. We're going to talk about the next 3, and then we'll have the next 6 in the upcoming episode. But number 4 on our list is keep moving forward. Be consistent. And that kind of goes with, what we talked about as it relates to taking action, but a little more specific, right? A little more specific to the point that when we're in situations, either good or bad, right? I'll give you an example. There are people that will work and bust their butt in this business, and then they'll make, $20 or $30 or $50,000, and then guess what they do? They stop. They stop to smell the roses. They want to go shopping. They want to go out. They want to travel. Meanwhile, their business is doing absolutely nothing. They don't have any automation in place, or people in place to keep the momentum going, because momentum matters. It truly matters. But they stop. They don't keep moving forward. They slow down. and they're not being consistent in their efforts because they're happy with what they just did. You also have to keep in mind the average salary in America right now is just over $60,000 a year. It's $60,060 actually. And so what that means is most people in this country are not making $60,000 a year. So you get into this business and you make yourself, $40 or $50,000 in a month or two, or even three for that matter. For a lot of people, that's as much money as they've ever seen at one time. And there is a certain psychology that comes with that you have to be aware of, that you have to learn, because you will blow an opportunity because you stopped, because you had success. It's not fear of success, it's wanting to fall back and smell the roses before the roses have actually blossomed, right? You got to keep that momentum going. You got to keep moving forward, and you have to be consistent in your efforts, because if you've proven to yourself that you can do it once, you can do it 100 times. But
That's right.
you've got to put people and processes and systems in place so that you can take time off and travel with your family and wake up at noon if you want to. Because the minute you can, you won't, because you're going to see the value. It's like the stock uh, scenario that I brought up earlier. If you know that you can put a little bit more time and effort into this, you're going to do that because it's going to give you the desired outcome, which is your financial freedom, your family's financial freedom, your ability to build a legacy over time, you know? And that's why it's so important to keep moving forward and be consistent in your efforts. Build a team before you decide to just run on out there. Put processes in place before you decide to just run on out there. And I know I want to get you in on this, Steve, but like I know, if we wanted to take a week off and go somewhere, we're going to have our marketing up. We're going to have our phones answered. We're going to have a VA do that. We've got someone to handle the marketing while we're gone. We've got people to answer the phone calls. We've got appointment setters to make sure those things get done. So if we miss a week of work, we're not missing a beat in our business.
Exactly. And of course, that's everyday stuff. And the other thing though is
Yeah, but it's
there's
not
every
for
now and then.
everybody. And that's the crazy thing, Steve. It's not for everybody. It's every day to
Right.
us. But there was a time when we weren't there. I mean, when I met you,
Yeah.
you already had those systems in place. You had people. So if
Sure.
if you weren't around, you had people to make sure the business was still functioning. And like you said, you've been in this now for 35 years. I met you 20 years ago. So 20 years
Yeah.
ago, when I met you, you had 15 years in the business already. You'd already experienced those gaps in your business potentially, you know. So you knew enough to put those things in place because you knew you needed it. You also knew that you were just one guy. You can't do it all because you're pushing some volume there, sir. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's a lot of houses. There's no way you can do that by yourself. You have to have a team. You'd lose money by trying to keep all the money.
Yeah. Well, the point I was gonna make is every now and then there's a big event that shows up, like a COVID
Yeah.
or an '08, or even a lot of little smaller events in between those quote unquote bigger events. And I would say, take a second, and that's all I mean, like 1 second or 5 seconds, and look at that. But don't let those stop you either. Uh, there's been situations in the past where I kind of stopped for a minute, looking and thinking, okay, what does all this mean to the real estate business that I'm in? And and you know what? Looking back, not a lot, really. It just doesn't affect anything that we're doing that much. So all
Hmm.
I would say is, don't let these quote unquote big things happen that are happening, throw you off of the momentum track. Because what Miles just said, the momentum is huge. You keep doing this every day, and just ignore the rest of the world.
Mm.
Keep focused on those activities, those daily activities. Don't chase the money, solve the problems, put the systems in place. The big events happen, whatever,
That's exactly right.
as long as a hurricane didn't come through and wipe out your house, you're okay.
That's
So
right.
just keep going.
That's exactly right. So just keep moving. Just keep pushing forward. That's the best thing there. And then number 5
Yeah.
on our list, and I had to rephrase this because an overwhelming 90%, well, I'll just say it, okay? 90%
Oh,
of the
yeah.
people that I talked to said, don't let broke people offer you any advice or education. And I reworded that to say, don't take advice from unsuccessful people, right? But overwhelmingly, it was don't let broke people give you advice or offer you education in your business. And that totally makes sense, right? Because let's face it, you know, if you're going to travel abroad, right? If you're going to travel
Mhm.
abroad, you're going to go to a country that you've never been to because let's say you want to go look at the rainforest. Now we know the rainforest is a very dangerous place, right? Can be, big tarantulas. There's all kind of bugs and wildlife that can take you out, right? Just take you out.
Not to mention large snakes.
Yeah, there are those tree dwellers, you know. But would you hire a guide that's never been through that forest? Would you hire a guide that has never ever stepped foot there because
No.
they read a book or said that they could do it? No, no, you're not. You're not. I can't guide you through a place or to a thing if I've never been there, if I've never experienced it. There's no way. So why would you take advice or guidance from someone who hasn't done it? Perfect example is Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Robert Kiyosaki
Right.
talks about his two dads and how one dad was saying, "Oh, that you're gonna lose your shirt. You just get your education. Don't do that." And the other dad was like, "I don't have an education. I'm just out here making it happen, and this is how it
Mhm.
goes." Right? But the one dad was preaching security and that you know you may never find success by being an investor, a business owner. And the other one was saying, "Hey, you do what you want to do, but if you want to be rich, this is what you have to do. You're never going to be rich being an academic." Of course, academics don't become academics because they want to be rich. They become academics because they want security, you know, period, point blank. I mean, people will say all kind of different things about academics. People make excuses for their lots in life. And true, I'm not saying that everyone wants to be rich. I'm not even I'm not even implying that because money doesn't mean the same to everyone, right? But a lot of academics, what's the saying, Steve? Those who, those
Oh,
who, those who do, those who
yeah,
can do, those who can't teach.
right.
Right? That's the old saying. But the world we live in now is completely different, and there are a lot of people that want to add value to other people's life, that want to give you an opportunity or show you that there is an opportunity out there for you, provided you take the steps to find that success for yourself. But don't take information from people that haven't been to where you want to go. If they haven't been
Right.
there, how can they help you navigate through all of the intricacies, the traps that are going to be there for you? It's not
Exactly.
possible. It's just
Hey,
not
it's like the
possible.
minefield. It's like, walking through a minefield. Do you want to just take the chance and, kind of run across and hope you don't hit one? Or would you rather step into some shoes or some footprints of someone who's actually traversed the minefield and left you the actual footprints that you can step into to get from where you are to the other side without getting blown to bits?
That's exactly right. And that is so important, guys.
Mm.
Listen, folks, if you're out there and you're looking for coaches and mentors or just a way for you to get from where you are to where you want to be, you have to interview the people that are asking you for your money. If they're going to coach you, you have to be not only coachable, but you have to be confident in that coach's abilities. You have to be.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said you had been trying to do real estate for 2.5 years,
Mm,
and you just kept on going, and you were not making any money. As a matter of fact, you were losing money, right?
correct.
Why did you do that? And I'm kind of leading us into the next number
Right.
6, which was don't give up. Why didn't you give up?
Perfect example, right? I didn't give up because I saw the money. I was in the streets, and at the time, in the area that we're in Atlanta, the West End was probably the most bubbling section of the city. I mean, there was a lot of BS going on, but there was a lot of good stuff going on. And not just there, but it was just teeming with investors. I mean, there were everywhere you went, every store you went into, every restaurant, investors having lunch, it was just there. And so, plus I really wasn't driving at that time, so it was easy for me to get around from that central hub. And I saw all of this activity, all of this money changing hand, houses being sold constantly, some over and over and over again, houses being renovated and refinanced and retailed. And I'm looking at this and I said, there's just got to be a way. And I'm at the library. Now, remember, I just came out of a situation where, there in the entertainment business, you're up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And at the time, there was no internet to speak of. So if you're going to see an infomercial about real estate, you're going to be up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning watching those channels. I was just going to sleep, right? so when I got into out of the entertainment business and started doing real estate, I just went to the library and read books. But that's what I did, and programs that were in there. And then, of course, as you read those programs, I would write letters to Carlton Sheets, Russ Whitney, all those guys of the time, Ron LeGrand. I would write letters, and they would send me, Ron LeGrand, for instance, sent me tickets to one of his events, right? But I had to get there, and I didn't have the money to go, so I missed it. But I just kept reading and kept reading and kept implementing these processes till I found the small little nuances that made sense. And once I realized I was going to need some help, I still didn't think of the seminar world, the coaches and trainers. I started calling attorneys, mortgage brokers, real estate brokers, anybody who could help me, and finally found an attorney that gave me some direction. And 3 weeks after I had that conversation, I made $6,000. A month after that, I made 18,000, and I bought my first house, which I bought from you.
Yeah.
1855 Lakewood Terrace. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
Yeah.
But I bought my first house from you, and then life just progressed from there. But all of the stuff that I put together over those 2.5 years, all of those processes, that's those little nuances that I got started to help me develop systems that work inside what I've created, how to make it my own, if you will. I had to learn how to make it my own, not Carlton Sheets, not Russ Whitney's, because how they did it in Florida or California or wherever they were was slightly different than the way we had to do it and the way we had to put it together. Then once I started doing that, I got a mentor, and I was off to the race. I had several mentors. Steve was one. I could call Steve up and ask him a million questions. He would answer them all the time. I was selling his properties. We were trying to bring him properties, but he was a machine. So, I mean, Steve would have a list of 50 properties at any given time that are ready to go. It was just amazing. But, but
I did.
yeah, I know. I was a witness to it. So, it's just amazing to me how because I had family that told me to just stop, quit, give up, stop, don't do this, go get a job, go back into the entertainment business, whatever, just stop doing this. I had friends and very, very close people, people that were so close to me that wouldn't even at a certain point give me the time of day, because I guess they just thought I was, on some bum stuff, right? Which I wasn't. I was just having a hard time finding my way. But I saw the money there every single day. I saw people making it. And I knew that I could do it. I knew I could do it. I believed in myself and my abilities before my abilities showed up. I knew that I could do it. And once the opportunity broke for me, and yeah, could it have happened sooner? Absolutely. I could have found a way to pay a mentor. I could have found a way to put myself in a lot of situations. But I didn't, one, because I didn't know, and two, because I was hard headed. I was hard headed. And when I stopped being hard headed, because the saying, hard head makes a soft behind, right? So once I was, once my butt was so sore from being slapped up and down the streets, I started to reach out, and it's only then that I found this, or actually started to find the success. But inside 3 months, my entire life was different. Inside 3 months, I went from sleeping on a couch, sometimes in the car, if I'm being honest, to living in a 5-story condo townhouse in Buckhead with a rooftop barbecue and hot tub. Literally in 72 days. In 72 days. But I had 2.5 years of putting processes together that I just needed to tweak. And once that started to happen, life changed. And that's when I absolutely realized the importance of having coaches and mentors in my life. And we still have them today in every aspect of what we do. Some of them I'm working with right now, as you see Steve. And then some of which I've been working with for not quite as long with Steve, but in the early days of my success, before I got into the education and writing, I still have that mentor as well. And you're going to have a series of mentors for all kind of things all throughout your career, throughout your life, if you want to be someone who is successful, not just in business, but in life, period. So don't give up. You can't give up.
That's right.
You just can't give up. But listen, guys, we've already gone over our time. We're approaching the 45-minute mark. I just don't want to beat you up. We are going to have part 2 of this next week for sure. In the meantime, like I said, if you like this content, make sure you like, subscribe. You're going to watch it. So if you're watching it, go ahead and click that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that little bell so you can be notified when we release content as well. And I will see you on the other side of this. Watch another video.